welcome to a special Super Bowl edition of NFL Primetime, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live.
The celebration it is the city of champions, Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, who just devastated the Kansas City Chiefs, not allowing them in the end zone, not the creamsicle, but the blue splash of Coach Bruce Arians. Tom Brady, Gronk, the old guard that came as the new guard to Tampa against these Chiefs. Antonio Brown, the Buccaneers. They say you can never go home again. Well, it took them 3 road playoff games to get home again. And there's Brady and Mahomes again. The master, still the master. The youngster, still in waiting. My goodness, the 7th Lombardi Trophy won by Tom Brady, his first as a Buccaneer. And as we start NFL Primetime with Chris Berman and 2 very famous Buccaneers. Steve Young, who won rings when he got out of here, and Booger McFarland, who won rings when he was hit with the defense, and it was a defensive day. Look, the overall is Tom Brady's first Super Bowl was 0-1. This one was in 2020. That would be 2 complete decades. And it took him to get out of New England to finally have a laugher.
Boomer, with 7 championships, you talk about the greatest athletes of all time. Who are we going to say? Jordan, Woods, Ali, name them. They're all guys that were 5 guys on a team, individual sports. This is football. It's 50 guys, 32 teams. The odds of doing this are astronomical. More than you can describe to anyone else that we're talking. Any other name you want to give me, this feat to go to this many Super Bowls and in football, to me, is unique, different, and something that should be appreciated, like in our generation and our lives or anything we've ever seen. I'm speechless about it. It's indescribable.
Well, and for him to do it with this team after the year he had in New England. Remember a year ago, Tom Brady's done. Can he still throw the football down the field? And the people who knew football said, you know what? No, he's not done. He just needs better weapons. And to go through a year of COVID, to come down here and ingratiate himself with new teammates, having practices at high school fields, and to do it, I think this cements his legacy, not only in football, but in all of sports.
There's no question.
One quick thing before we get to the highlights and plenty of reaction. I remember sitting with Tom in New England in an interview like 5 years ago, 6. He was still in his 30s, a young man. How long do you want to play, Tom? He went, oh, no, I want to play till I'm 45. Now, this is going back 4 or 5 years. Like, what? I thought I needed a Q-tip in my ear. And he went, no, I can do it.
But he planned for it.
Yes.
He put the time in. He planned to get to Tampa, but where he was getting out of New England 4 years ago. Like, he's a guy that thinks about this years in advance, and that's why he can pull it off. He can come down. And the thing that's interesting about it to me is you come down to a team that they don't know him. They got helicopters over his house when he arrives in town. He's the biggest. He's married to Giselle. He's been 6-time Super Bowl champ. How does he hold people close to him? How does he get his teammates to consistently fight for him and bleed with him? There's 15 books about leadership that need to be written about Tom Brady and how he does this.
He does it because he ingratiates himself with his teammates.
He's vulnerable. He's honest.
He shows that he's just like them. He puts his pants on one leg at a time. He'll joke with them. He'll laugh with them. He'll be personable with them. And now as a teammate, when I see that, it doesn't matter who you are in lore. You're just a football player to me, baby, and you're trying to help me win. That's how he does it.
And you know what? There was one little secret that got let out tonight also. Oh, I also have a defense here in Tampa.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
That was a little secret. They had some of those players before.
Bug knew that. He called it.
And the Chiefs, who rolled up almost 300 yards in the first quarter against them here around Thanksgiving weekend, well, that was the last loss the Bucs have. All right, you know what? So this was built up. One of the most anticipated Super Bowls, obviously, the past and present master against the present and perhaps future master. The defending champ, Kansas City Chiefs, were coming in and trying to win a Super Bowl against Oh, the last quarterback to win back-to-back Super Bowls way back in 03 and 04 and Tom Brady. All the offensive weapons, but yet a wild card team and on the road 3 times. Yeah, they were going to finally get a home game, but they were going to be underdogs. Tom only once an underdog before when they took down the greatest show on turf, and that was back in 01. Chiefs kind of a similar team, coming in flying high, but yet in this battle, this epic battle, the age difference in quarterbacks, hats off to the veteran in the new sombrero. I know it's not new, Booger, but I can still call it the new sombrero. And you know what? When you see the stealth, yeah, in the beginning, it just tells you this is big. And well, then you see Tom Brady, and you know this is big. And then you see Patrick Mahomes, the Magic Man, and you know this is big. First quarter, Mahomes. Trying to buy time.
Some fun blitzes, Booger. You called it. They played the umbrella shell. They had all eyes on all the receivers, but they brought a couple of neat blitzes behind that zone shell.
And off the helmet of Tyreek, I mean, he was a non-factor. Chiefs get a field goal. They lead 3-0. Wait a minute, Brady. I'm going to bring Gronk down here with me. Look at Gronk, and it's a Super Bowl spike.
Great play call there. The RPO. Dan Sorensen lost Gronkowski. Tremendous play call by Byron Leftwich, the first of many throughout the night.
And they break the Montana to Rice postseason record, etc. Now it's 7-3. They had the Joe Haig, the tricky buck, Steve.
You know what? It gets punched out. I feel bad for him because you know everyone's going to say he dropped it. But he didn't drop it. He didn't really get it. It was great defense.
Yeah, it was a good play. 3rd and goal from the Toronto Jones with Vita Vea looking at starring as the bridge. And the Chiefs hold. Now, could they hold on 4th down? And this is going to turn the game. They did not score, and the Chiefs take over by their defensive stand.
One of the few mistakes the Bucs make. That should have been Leonard Fournette instead of Ronald Jones. Maybe Leonard Fournette, the more powerful back, scores.
It's 7-3, but they only got 1 first down. They got a bad punt. Boy, the punter struggled. And then Fournette's hands into the hand of Tyrann Mathieu. So here come the Chiefs. But wait, Charvarius Ward.
Not in the Super Bowl, boys. Not in the Super Bowl.
Well, so they keep the ball. And then Chiefs hold again and force Ryan Suckup to kick a 40-yard field goal. But wait a minute. Offsides, lined up offsides. It was 4th and 4.5.
This is when I felt like the Chiefs were distracted.
Yes,
this is the Chiefs in the preseason mode. And do not line up offsides.
And so another gift, and hello, it's Gronk to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, 14-3.
Long developing route. Great job by the offensive line. Tom Brady had all kinds of time. I see you, Tom. Talk your talk, baby.
Well, that was him, and the Honey Badger got into it a little bit. And now, with 55 seconds left in the half, all of a sudden the Chiefs, who got a field goal, they called timeouts. And Tom picked up a first down. And, Steve, then to Gronk, and here they go.
To me, this is the ball game. And this is, to me, this self-inflicted. To call these timeouts, to give Tom a chance to go up 21-6. When he was willing, you could see they wanted to go in 14-6. I just thought it was a critical coaching error there.
Right, and that one was a good call on Breland. So a 34-yard penalty. Evans, it's over his head, but here the Honey Badger, a flag on him right at the end of the half.
And I thought that was a bad call. I thought that call right there against the Honey Badger was a bad call. And this one you thought maybe, just maybe, it was going to be the Bucs night.
Well, it was going to be right here with just seconds to go. So wait a minute. Only expatriates get touchdowns in this game?
Only.
Brady to Gronk twice and Brady to Antonio Brown. And these guys continue to draw. Even Tom chased them a little bit.
He must have said something personal to Tom.
Honey Badger
There's no way
said
Tom
something.
goes over there unless something's personal.
And so now, end of first half, 21-6. The Chiefs get the ball, but he had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, did Patrick Mahomes. I'm stealing from Martha Reeves. I'm going back. Broken up against Kelsey. Another field goal. Chiefs kicking field goals. Butker was on, but he was at 21-9. Brady, Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. First down. Fournette looked good. Boy, he looked good against Green Bay 2 weeks ago. Brady, Gronk. Remember, he only caught one ball. It was a big one against Green Bay. Not tonight, though.
In my mind, that was once they established the defense, it allowed the offense to start to get more expansive, and you could see that.
Yeah, expansive. That was off right tackle. Nobody laid a hand on Leonard Fournette. Bruce Arians said, I don't know if it wasn't 65 toss power trap, but it was a touchdown. It's 28-9. Now Mahomes, and they're really bringing maybe one extra, but not
mostly
usually.
Four, every now and then 5, and they were starting to dominate up front, Boom.
And that was Shaq Barrett definitely dominating with the sack. Mahomes tipped Antoine Winfield Jr. He'd been hurt. He'd been playing here. Right place, right time. I mean, long. You could see the way this was rolling.
Like we say on defense, Boom, tips and overthrows, Steve, I got to have them.
And that set up a field goal, 31-9. Mahomes now early fourth. Look at the run. There's nobody. Where is my man Brian Pringle? Maybe Byron Pringle will try it. Once you pop, you cannot stop. That's a potato chip. But it didn't work on fourth down.
It became a mess. It became
was a mess.
Total mess. It's the kind of thing you see in August, early September, and that's what the Bucs forced out of the Chiefs.
Yes. And then on fourth down, I mean, amazing to get the throw off. Darrell Williams has a chance, but the Bucs defense he never had a minute to set his feet. Never.
And we thought that could be the story coming in. This offensive line, it was too simple, but it turned out to be the difference in the game.
Yes, it was. Under 2 minutes to go. Fourth down. I mean, why not? Here you go. Well, no, wait a minute. Now he's crushed. That's it. I got ahead of myself. That's Ndamukong Suh. Don't forget about him. Crushed all game. Now, trying for Tyreek Hill. But, I mean, really, there's no way you're going to complete that, right? And it falls incomplete. Winfield says, peace, man.
I mean, the cheetah, me? Yeah, I get it. But you know what, Boone? If Tyreek Hill can do that to defenders, he can also take it when he's getting his butt kicked tonight.
Well, he did tonight. Under 2 minutes to go. Fourth down, and of course, it ends in Devin White, one of the many Buck defenders that played just a miraculous and a marvelous game. They're celebrating. Gronk celebrating. Coach Arians celebrating. The knee, the 31-9 final, and the handshake. In the playoffs, Thomas bested Patrick, and there's the shower. Blue, creamsicle, whatever color it doesn't really matter. Yes, they've won. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, this thing.
Tom's easiest win in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is the one that came the easiest. Right?
Yes.
This is the one. Look, it was a balanced win.
Yes, it was.
And
right.
the Bucs, we talked about it all year. Are they going to gel? Do they have enough time? Tom coming to town, Gronk, Antonio Brown. Well, the better offense and better defense we played at the end of the year. And it absolutely was. This team, why don't they go win it again? They're going to get better and better.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, that Chiefs loss, of which they came back to lose by 3, the Buccaneers, then they had a bye. I don't think you can overlook this. It's just exactly what played. It was the last bye of any of the teams. Veteran team, first week of December, had a bye. Good timing. They haven't lost since then. You talk about gelling. Hello, that's what they got together. And oh, by the way, the defense never allowed the Chiefs into the end zone.
We're going to talk a lot about Tom Brady. Who would have ever thought the Chiefs would only kick 3 field goals? Todd Bowles was outstanding tonight.
Yes.
And we wondered what adjustments was he going to make from week 12 to the night. First time we saw Tyreek Hill, 260 yards in the first quarter. Todd Bowles simply said, I'm not going to allow you to get deep. He kept 2 safeties back. The pass rush dominated the offensive line up front. And I realized we're going to talk a lot and we're going to wax on Brady. He's the greatest ever. But Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles dominated this game tonight. They outcoached Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy up and down the field.
4 guys up front dominated. The only time that you see defense today in the unfair fight that the NFL is, offense versus defense, is when 4 guys, not 5 or 6, when 4 dominate. Denver did it a few years ago.
Yes.
The Ravens did it a few years ago.
And the Giants did it to Brady.
So that's how you win. And that's how they dominate in today's defenses have to bring 4, and that's what they did. Here, they brought the extra guy here early, Boog.
Yep.
And that was a nice thing. They played zone behind it, and I think that threw them off, and I like that wrinkle. But the rest of the game, it was 4 guys just basically putting Patrick on skates the whole day.
Well, and you see Shaq Barrett, by the way, he's an unrestricted free agent, just beating the right tackle Wiley with an inside move. Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh pushing the pocket. Notice what Patrick did all night. He was backing up.
Yes.
He never had time to step up.
He never set his feet even when he had a time.
Exactly.
They were in his head immediately.
And that was Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, those 4 guys up front. We talked about this years ago when I played in Tampa. It was Warren Sapp, myself, Greg Spires, Simeon Rice. When you can dominate an offensive line up front,
I remember those
it
guys.
doesn't matter. Okay, going back to the greatest show on turf. Remember that game, Boom?
Yeah.
Nobody can stop him. 40 points a game. Monty Kiffin simply said that Kurt Warner can't throw if he's on his back. This game plan tonight resembles this. We're going to keep the ball in front of us and allow our defensive line to dominate. And it still brings back the old axiom. Great defense still beats great offense.
Yes.
It still does.
Every once in a while, it's rare nowadays, but it does show up, and when it does, it is the difference.
Exactly.
But you knew the front 7 of the Bucs were something.
Right.
You just didn't think that the Chiefs, they were out of sync for all 60 minutes. Again, the Bucs maybe give different looks, but you know who would know what looks the Bucs gave? That would be head coach Bruce Arians, and he's at the podium right now, probably happy.
He's been fantastic, running and catching and pass blocking. He's been an all-around back and done a great job for us. Hey, can you turn this up?
Next question will come from John Romano with the Tampa Bay Times.
Bruce, could you just talk about the game plans of the coordinators, both Byron and Todd?
Yeah, I thought all 3 guys had great plans. Byron did a great job, I thought, of just mixing it up, running pass, and then pounding them when we needed to. And Todd had a great plan. Keep them in front of us and let our front 4 get after them. And, they chased him around all night.
Next, we'll go to Scott Reynolds with Pewter Report.
Bruce, what can you say about Tom Brady's performance, especially with that touchdown right before halftime, once again, giving you guys a healthy lead at the half?
Yeah, that was a huge drive, that 2-minute drive with a minute and something. Want to start out a little conservative, make sure we got a play in, and we got the long pass interference. Done a great throw with Antonio, and he just played outstanding the whole ball game. He protected the football. We had great protection, and we found a couple guys like Antonio and Gronk. Both their touchdowns were more improv plays, and just did a great job. Great line, great tight ends. Everybody just did a hell of a job. Team effort.
Next, we'll go to Jenna Lane with ESPN.
Hey, Coach, congratulations, first of all.
Go Jams, baby.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
A few of your major contributors on offense were all guys that were brought in on 1-year deals. Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette. How big is it going to be, or should I say, how big was it to have them here tonight, but also how big is it going to be for you guys to get them back next year? And when do you guys start on the process of doing that?
Yeah, I think you got to give Jason Light a ton of credit for this football team. He put a great roster together, picking up those guys and still staying cap friendly. And, we've got a very limited time to get into free agency, and we'll try to keep our guys, that's for sure.
Next, we'll go to Greg Allman.
Bruce Arians. Older than all. Yeah, Tom Brady, he's 43. He's young. Did we look at the Bruce Arians? 68 years young, the oldest coach to win a Super Bowl. Older than Bill, older than Tom Coughlin, older than all of them. So congratulations to him and the staff of Bowles and Leftwich and Clyde Christensen, who's been around a long time. We could go on and on and on. But you heard Bruce talk about in one of the questions, and we'll cement it here and then take a quick timeout. So end of half, the Chiefs got the ball with about 6 minutes. About under 2, they were close, but only got a field goal. But then Tampa scored a touchdown. Chiefs get kickoff, get a field goal. Tampa gets touchdown.
I said for years, every time I kick a field goal, I knew I was getting closer to losing, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
And, Bruce is one of the more aggressive coaches that we see in our league, and he coaches his way. No risky, no biscuit. Everybody kills him for that, but he did it his way. That's the thing about this Super Bowl victory tonight. Bruce didn't change for anyone.
Correct.
Byron Leftwich, you're my offensive coordinator. You call the plays. Oh, by the way, an African-American. Todd Bowles, you're the defensive coordinator. You call the plays in African-American. Hey, Keith Armstrong, you're my special teams coach. You call it. one of the more diverse coaching staffs in football. He allowed his coaches to coach, and they put together one hell of a game plan tonight.
So it might not be changing, but ego did not win the day when it usually would with Tom Brady coming to town with all that.
Exactly.
That's just so disruptive. Tom and Bruce Arians worked it out early, and they held it together.
Yes.
And they never look. They had tough times this season.
Yeah.
Tough moments, but they never cracked. They communicated with each other. They stood by each other. They remained vulnerable to each other. I really believe that when you talk about leadership and how Bruce dealt with it and how Tom dealt with this was really the remarkable. That's a Super Bowl kind of effort by both of them.
Absolutely. And we point out end of half. He's not going to change. Touchdown. End of half. Green Bay. Touchdown.
Yeah.
That was that game, as it turned out. Well, we have plenty more coming up here on Super Bowl Primetime. Antonio Brown, all sorts of bucks. Have Tom Brady, family, and the Chiefs do not defend by a long shot.
NFL Primetime is presented by Intuit TurboTax Live and in part by USAA Insurance, an official insurance sponsor of the NFL.
And welcome back to NFL Primetime. The Bucs emphatically 31-9 champs in their home stadium. The new sombrero here in Super Bowl 55, the Gatorade bath, the Coach Bruce Arians, and just like magic, here he is. And Bruce Arians, congratulations to you and your team. Listen, you took a long route, 3 road stops to bring it home, but boy, did you save the best for the home folks. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't say enough about our coaching staff, Boomer. They did a great game plan coming into this one, and our players, we had 2 good weeks of practice and preparation, and the guys played their tails off, man. People, I think, our guys were tired of hearing about their offense and nobody talking about our defense.
Well, your defense did, and we're going to get into that pretty deeply. But, we make a lot of it, and we don't know. Look, you lost to the Chiefs. You had a bye. So there were a lot of things going on. Veteran team had rest, but you got together and closed a lot of things tightly. You never lost since. How much did you look at that last game and go, we got to change, we don't have to change, or did you throw a lot of that out? It was Thanksgiving.
No, we watched that one pretty closely. I mean, we knew we screwed up in that first quarter. We weren't going to let Tyreek Hill get off this time, and Todd came up with a great game plan of keeping Kelsey and Tyreek Hill in front of us and let that front 4 get after him.
Bruce, how difficult was it for you to get Tom Brady up to speed, going through COVID, the whole nine, and how long did it take you to get him to full speed?
About this week. It's been a growing process the whole time, Booger. Unbelievable. But I think that second half of the Chiefs game, then we go take the open date. We don't score a point in the first half against Atlanta, but we score 31 in the second half. And we started attacking, and we haven't pulled our foot off the gas pedal since.
Coach, why did you start attacking it? The plus 20 play started to show up as soon as after the bye. You didn't lose again. I mean, what changed? Certainly, it looked like something significant changed in the bye week.
Yeah, I think getting Tom very, very comfortable with taking shots and not thinking about it. Don't worry about it. And that second half in Atlanta, actually we were sitting on the bench with about a minute and a half go. I said, look, we're putting the pedal down and we're never taking the foot off the gas again. We're going to attack, and it rubbed off on our defense, our special teams, and we just talked about attacking for the rest of the season.
Beautiful.
Bruce, look, you've coached against Tom Brady all these years. You've had him all this season, but I'm just going to take the playoffs in a nutshell. The 3 wild card victories, and now this Super Bowl. You knew all about Tom. You knew what he's about, and if you didn't know, you certainly did by December when you were winning games. But the playoff Tom Brady, what did you learn these last few weeks that wasn't even apparent this fall?
Well, his preparation was unbelievable, Boomer, but his confidence and how it rubs off on the rest of the football team. Him talking to defensive players, he might see something on tape and he'll give a heads up to a defensive player, and his leadership is off the charts. And but again, he protects the football so well in big games. And we had very, very few turnovers. A couple of long ones in Green Bay where they were just punts. But he's a winner, man, and that's all you can say. He brought a winning mentality to a really talented football team that didn't know how to win.
Well, good things come to those who wait, Bruce. 68 years young, and Tampa is the city of champions. Go celebrate with your football family, your family, and what a performance. Congratulations, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
really,
Coach.
really appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Coach.
Very nice
Thank
of
you,
Coach.
guys.
Thank you. Very nice of Coach to take this time to join us on Primetime, especially a different sort of deal. Now, wild card teams to win the Super Bowl, okay? So we know that the Bucs played 3 road games, and they won the Super Bowl. The Pack in 2010, they had 3 road games. The Giants, 27, they had 3 road games. The Steelers in 2005, 3 road games. Baltimore won the Super Bowl in this stadium. The Ravens, they had 1 home game. Denver had a home game and then 1 as a wild card. Oakland had 1 home game and 1 as a wild card. And oddly enough, in the AFL, 2 road games. The 69 Chiefs, they invented the wild card. The old AFL, the Chiefs. And boy, do these Chiefs wish the wild card wasn't invented for this year, then they wouldn't have had to play the Bucs. So now, the Bucs are on another historic list. So, this was not the game that the Kansas City Chiefs envisioned. The Bucs defense just, no matter what, gave you no time, gave him no space, and picked him off. Patrick Mahomes, he's young, he'll be back. An eye-opener for sure at the podium.
Yeah, I did. Obviously I didn't play the way I wanted to play. But what else can you say? All you can do is leave everything you have on the field, and I feel like the guys did that. They were the better team today. They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time. But I'm proud of the guys and how they fought till the very end of the game.
All right, next we'll go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, a couple things. First of all, how similar was what Tampa did tonight to what they did, say, in the second half after that big first quarter in the first time around? Do you see any similarities in their coverage from that game, from the second quarter on to tonight? And I'll have one quick follow-up.
Not really any. They had a good game plan. They kind of took away our deep stuff. They took away the sidelines, and they did a good job of rallying to the football and making tackles. We weren't executing early. I had a few miscues. We weren't on the same page. But credit to them, man. They played a heck of a game defensively and offensively and beat us. Okay, and was the toe a problem for you tonight? And are you going to be having surgery anytime soon on that? Yeah, I can't say the toe was a problem when I played last week or 2 weeks ago, and I played well on it. It was something you battle through. You're playing football, you have to battle through injuries, and so we'll look at it tomorrow, and we'll make a final decision on if we're going to have surgery on it or not.
Not a press conference that he was expecting to give. Actually, the toe, real quick, and then I want to talk about the passing, because the first quarter and a half, he had 30 or 40 yards rushing, which was not the plan, but he was good on that, and only had, at the end of the first quarter, I think 2 of 8. All right. 2 of 8. So, Mahomes, Chiefs, Bucs, let's go both directions here.
So, tactically, he got beat early. I think they outsmarted him.
Right.
And then I think it changed, and then he was under siege, and I saw for the first time Patrick Mahomes act his age. He looked flustered and young. He looked like he was desperate, and as the ball just kind of spitting around, and it's like we have never seen. He's so settled all the time. He's always on top of the game. He's never shown. There's no cracks in the ever. And so tonight was that time where he's like, he is human, and we saw that humanity really kind of exposed tonight, because it was the whole team they were distracted and they looked at completely.
Well, first of all, I don't think the toe was an issue. The reports are he's going to have a procedure done. I don't think that was the issue. He was running around earlier, moving around. The Bucs changed. Okay, early in the first game in Week 12, they showed a lot of single high safety. He got a lot of one-on-ones, and the Chiefs are a big play offense. And when Todd Bowles kept two safeties back, he forced them to slow the game down, take the underneath,
but he can do that. But they wouldn't capitulate to it. I don't know why.
But they didn't want to do it. That was the issue. That's why he panicked, because he's dropping back. And it's clear the offensive line couldn't block the front four. So now if you're the quarterback and you want to go deep, that takes time. And so now Patrick is backing up, looking for those deep shots. And everyone said, run the ball, check it down, get the ball to your playmakers, and they wouldn't do that. And that's when the panic.
I agree.
That's when the panic set in.
I think
when they couldn't get the deep shots.
They did not respond.
Right.
They never responded to what was happening in front of them. They needed 10-play drives. You're good enough. Put 10 plays together. Right. They did 3 or 4. Kelsey over the middle, a nice run by Hilaire. You could see it's like, do that more, and then they'd want to do something special.
Yes.
They'd want to get outside, and they just stop. Just a 10-play drive and put it in the end zone. They just never did it.
You know what there never was? And this will sound obvious when you think there never was. I know the Chiefs are big playoff, and we know that. So in other words, a lot of 3 plays, 80 yards during the season. But in the Super Bowl against defenses that are obvious like this or in playoffs, there was no flow.
Yeah.
No flow from the start. 2 of 8, 2 of 9, whatever it was. Like, not it. Tyreek Hill, forget stats.
When you're under siege as a quarterback.
Yeah, but early it wasn't as much.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So in Andy and Bieniemy, they know there are other plays to be called to be in the flow. Summer to Kelsey, maybe a screen game. I don't know.
Yeah, they lost the game in the second quarter. Right. When they needed to respond, come up with something, put a touchdown down, they just couldn't do it.
Put a drive together. If you go back to the Super Bowl when they played the 49ers, the offense kind of sputtered also. Then they ran the football. The running game got the offense going, and then Mahomes woke up and we got Wasp and all that call. They didn't want to run the ball. When you got 2 safeties back, boom, it's a light box. Run the football.
Gotta do it.
They didn't want to commit to the run. They were looking for the chunk plays, and ultimately that's what cost them.
And then even despite on their defense, they made a couple of defensive stands, but then the flag, and then it was mental, physical, and a disaster.
Yeah.
And it was a disaster. And that's not really the word to use for football. Might be a word to use on what happened late in the week. And everybody knows the story of Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed, son of Andy Reid, in an accident Thursday evening, presumably leaving the complex, I'm not sure, to go home in the evening. And 2 cars that were parked and maybe lights on, maybe doesn't matter. Accident, a youngster is fighting for his life. I mean, a 5-year-old, everybody knows this story. Look, Coach Reed is only human, and this is Thursday night, and out of nowhere, no way would he or the team ever use anything like this as an excuse. However, they looked way out of sync. It would be not fair to the Bucs to say, well, no. We're not trying to go. I tell you what, Coach Reed has addressed this after the game, and why don't we listen to him?
My heart goes out to all those that were involved in the accident, in particular the family with the little girl who's fighting for her life. And listen, it's a tough situation. I can't comment on it any more than what I am here. So the questions that you have, I'm gonna have to turn those down at the time. But just from a human standpoint, man, my heart bleeds for everybody involved in that.
Well, and there's no other way to say it. Obviously, this is a very together team. We know them quite well. They're defending champs, and they've won 25 of 27 going back to November a season ago. There's no way that he would ever, or any of the Chiefs would say this distracted them from the effort that the Bucs did, and that would not be fair. But you just have to. This is their leader. I know Mahomes and Honey Badger, their leader. No, Coach Reed is their leader. And to see their leader hurting like this, although I'm sure he was 100% dialed in as much as he could with the game plan and everything else late in the week,
right?
To see their leader hurting like this, you either call yourself at 150. They were hurting, and I think it reflected. I will never know, and they would never say that.
Well, nobody's ever going to say that, but we're human.
Yep.
If that's your head coach and you know he's hurting, you're going to hurt. Regardless of why, how, whatever, he's hurting. And so at some point, regardless of how much, at some point that took up time. That took up space. Now, I get it. We're just playing a football game, and the little girl's life is the most important thing.
Amen.
Absolutely. But you just feel for Andy Reid late in the week, getting ready for this game, and now he's got to deal with that. And he brings that on his team. I think he's hurting that somehow he feels like he distracted his team.
Of course.
That's the part he's probably feeling right now.
Of course. There's no other way to say it. And let's just hope that the young girl and the other youngster in there and hope for the best from here on out. I mean, we don't know any more than anybody does. But, hey, look, the Chiefs weren't themselves for whatever reason. That might be one of them. The Bucs would be another one of them, okay? So to speculate anymore would not be fair. It's fair to Tom Brady, fair to the Bucs. It was an old-fashioned Super Bowl in which
I remember those.
They were all like 3 touchdown wins. We'll be back with more from Tampa in a moment.
You are watching a special Super Bowl edition of NFL Primetime, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live.
Hey, we've done this before. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. But wait a minute, what is this Buck jersey thing? I don't really get it because, we've been scoring touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Well, this was Super Bowl 49, that great game in 2014 against the Seahawks when Brady and Gronk and Edelman, they were like 10 for 10 in the fourth quarter. And meanwhile, in the loss to the Eagles, Brady to Gronk twice for touchdowns in that high-scoring game. And even though it was not going to be a win for New England, this has paid her twice. So you know what? I know, Gronk, you've been out of football for a year, but, we're going to do this thing. The weather's going to be nice. I know you're from Buffalo. You've grown up in the cold. You played in New England. Why don't you come to Tampa? And we might score not only 1 touchdown, we might hook up for the first 2 touchdowns in the game in the Super Bowl, and we're going to win 1, too. Not bad, huh, Gronk?
Oh man. It was kind of a series of conversations. It wasn't anything like, hey, Rob, I want you to come back, like come to Tampa with me. It was over a little bit of time, a couple conversations, and then free agency hit, and I was sitting there like watching, like, he told me he's gonna go down to Tampa or to another team, prior before, and I was just sitting there like, and he hit me up and he's like, yo, would you come down? And I was like, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to make a move. And it's just been over a series of just talks, and it's just an unbelievable story. And there's a lot, more conversations that went down, but we're just going to keep them between us. But just overall, just coming down to Tampa Bay, just coming into this organization, the Buccaneers organization, they were an organization ready to win. The players here were ready to win, and just to come in and be a small part, big part of it, and play my role was just amazing. And just to come here and just have a situation like this with so many great players and be Super Bowl 55 champs, it's just unreal. It's surreal, man.
Next question is Joshua Allen at Bucks Report. Go ahead, Joshua.
Hey, Gronk, congratulations, my man. How much of your contributions tonight were schemed up, or how much was it just a product of what they were giving you?
You never know with this offense, who's going to get the ball, who's going to make the plays, because we got so much talent on our team too. And that's what made this team so special. We have so many superstars on our team, but no one's head was ever too big during this year. Never on the defense side, never on the offensive side. And whoever got the ball, got the ball. We were all happy for each other. We knew that we were all going to have to play together and work together in order to win the game. And that's what we did. That's what we did all year long. And that's what was so great about being with this team, is that there was no one that was selfish on this team. Just overall in the whole organization, there's no one that was selfish here. And, it just happened to be me this time, to be me making the plays, to be
to have, the touchdown passes thrown to me. And just overall, you just never knew who it was going to be because we had so much talent. We just did a great job spreading the ball around and, just play together as a team to win it all. That's what you got to do.
Lovable. As much I love hearing Rob Gronkowski, the sage. Who would have thought Gronk is the sage? By the way, we mentioned it in the highlights. 14 postseason touchdowns between Brady and Gronk, passing Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, and Brett Favre and Freeman and everybody else like you wouldn't necessarily. So look, there's Gronk. Look, Tom Brady. and does he get a general manager share too? I'm just wondering.
Think about it this way: we need to give a shout out to the Bucs who were here.
Yes,
this is their home, right? This is our house. Gronk says they were ready to win.
Yeah,
they took in this all-star cast.
Yeah,
they took in Antonio Brown. They took them all in. Tom Brady, Gronk, and you see what Gronk said? We were selfless.
Yeah,
we didn't have an ego. Those guys, the Bucs that were here, were a huge part of making that work. The leaders, Evans, Godwin, Fournette, not Fournette, but on the defensive side of the ball, those guys did as much as anybody to make this work. Bruce Arians, the whole coaching staff. To me, the Bucs that were here, we need to honor what they did and what they were able to take in this year.
Well, and you think about what the general manager, Jason Light, did. Let's go back a year ago. Jameis Winston was here, 5,000 yards. And Bruce Arians says, if I can win 7 games with him, okay, and he's throwing 30 picks, hey, I can find somebody else to win 7 games with. And he said, I can't do that. I have to find and go get another quarterback. And they went out and they got Tom Brady. And Tom Brady says, you know what? I need a running back that can block and catch the football. Leonard Fournette's available. Let's get Fournette. What about AB? What about Gronk? Brady wants people around him that he can trust. Okay? It's not necessarily about you being the greatest athlete. Can I trust you and can I count on you? He developed a bond with Gronk over the years. He developed a bond with AB, playoff Leonard Fournette. And the people in the organization, the Glazer family, I play for them. Great family. They want to win. They will do anything for these players to win. And for Jason Light and Bruce Arians, they're linked at the hip. And for them to build another winner, we were on the mountaintop in 2002 and went down. And for them to come back and build another winner is just outstanding. You have to give your hats off to Jason Light. He's the orchestrator of this team. Tom Brady convinced those guys to come in here. The trust, just an outstanding job of putting together a team.
And look, and they had for a while, what's the matter? 7-5. It takes time. Yeah. You don't just put the ingredients.
Actually, that was more typical than this. The 7-5, the struggles that's what 12 padded practices that they got ready to go play. This is that was the best case scenario. This is super best case scenario. This is usually the second year together, right? Not the first year.
You know what with Gronk? So he came in, you could see he could still block even though it was a year out of football. Uh-huh. Against the Packers, he caught one, right? But it was a 50-yarder. It was a key moment in the game, in the championship game. And this time it was
he can still run.
It was his term.
He can still run.
Oh, and he can still bowl people
He does not
over.
look like a guy that's slowing down.
Look, if you wonder where Tom Brady is, we're waiting on him to get to the podium, and we'll share that with you as soon as possible because 2 complete decades of football, he's bookended championships. My word.
Welcome back to this special Super Bowl edition of NFL Primetime, presented by Intuit TurboTax Live. Play of the Game is brought to you by Tostitos. Get to the good stuff.
Tom Brady, 2 touchdowns to Gronk, which we showed you. And, of course, 1 to Antonio Brown as the play of the game. We can have a lot of play of the game. Tom was 21 of 29 for 201. The key thing there, no mistakes. And touchdown right there. If you play for me somewhere, I'm going to get you in the end zone now. Don't worry, that's the deal. Who knew that was the deal he made with these folks? And Bucs are champs. Brady, champs for the 7th time. Tom at the podium.
Well, I think they're all special, and they're all this has been an amazing year. Amazing year. We got off to a good start, 7-2, and then had a little rough stretch where we kind of found our identity and played a lot better football down last December, January. And just really proud of all the guys, proud of all the coaches, the effort we put in. We knew we were playing a great football team tonight, and we got the job done. So you want to get this far, you got to get the job done, and we did it.
We'll go over to Mike Jones with USA Today.
Tom, Leonard was saying late night you will send them texts and try to help them believe that you guys could win. Why was that important, and what were some of the messages that you were sending to your guys?
I think everybody, believed we could win. So that, I think through the last, really all year we believed in ourselves. Our coaches believed in us. We believed in ourselves. And again, we were going up against a great team tonight, and just happy we got the job done.
We will go over to Rick Stroud.
A lot of new teammates, but one of your own ones, Rob Gronkowski, even Antonio Brown did some nice things for you today. Can you talk about what it means to share that again with those guys?
Yeah, it's just great to see them, big time players making big time plays. So just love what they did, what they added to the team. Gronk's an unbelievable player, teammate, talent, work ethic, commitment, and AB is just, since he got here, he's just done everything the right way. So impressed by him, proud of him. Takes a lot of people for us to get to this point. And, we all have great support systems in place, and I think everyone should be celebrating them tonight. Robbie G. Congrats, baby. I'll see you later.
I mean, it's a movie star smile. It's a 7-time Super Bowl champion smile, and there's Joe and Terry with 4, and we thought that would be a mountain.
No, you got to, Boomer. 4 was like insurmountable. It was done. It was like Dan Marino, 63,000 yards. Never going to be matched. And now 10 years later, we have 7, and we have a guy throwing for 80,000 yards, probably on his way to 100.
In the Super Bowl alone, 7 wins. 21 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. Over 3,000 yards in the Super Bowl. 3,000 yards used to be.
These have 2 seasons of postseason. It's nutty. It's nutty. And I said it at the opening. This is football. 50 guys. You don't just show up and, like basketball, LeBron and another guy can go and win championships. Golf, you can get, you can go take care of it yourself. Football, no. It takes a lot of people, and that's what Tom Brady does. He brings everybody with him.
Everybody, yeah. And like Gronk said, tonight was my turn. Another game, it might not be my turn. We're going to put a bow on this 31-9 emphatic Tampa Bay Buccaneer win in their home park. If you said, which home team would play a Super Bowl in their stadium, and you looked at the list, Tampa Bay. Well, no, that's not going to be it. Wrong! We'll be back.
NFL Primetime is presented by Intuit TurboTax Live.